been a bit, hasn't it? Not obviously I've been making videos on the channel, but I haven't made much in the way of content out here. If you're looking at what's behind me and you're like, that is not what it looked like last time we were here. No, it is not. It's still chaos, but it's slightly more organized chaos. A lot of you have been asking what is going on with Rebecca, who is sat right there, making me feel guilty, which is basically her standard job. And she has been sat there for the better part of 2 years without me making any significant progress. So if you are hoping this is a video where I'm going to talk about what I've been up to with Rebecca, I will a little bit, because there has been some stuff that I have done. But this is more a state of the union. You know, this is more, where the hell am I at with this project? And where I'm at, to give you a little like spoiler for the end, is that I'm still excited to do it. But where I have been, that's kind of more where we're at with this particular video. So I'm going to just hand off to past Kate for a second to tell you where I was at and what I thought was going to happen next. So, the next video should be this assembled, powered up, and connected to a motor with the motor spinning. Oh, well, thanks, past Kate. That is not what happened. So there are a few things that have got in the way, continue to get in the way, that aren't exactly excuses, but explain a little bit about what's going on. So I decided shortly after that video that I was unutterably fed up with the state of the garage. You can see like a little bit in that video, but it is chaos. I mean, it's not absolute chaos now. There's some organization. So I'm just looking at my slightly aborted organization process, which I need to get back to. And there are quite a few reasons for that. One of the reasons is that this garage has to serve multiple jobs. It stores equipment for me. It stores tools that I used while we were building this house, because for those who don't know, and this will be relevant later, my wife and I essentially built our house. Like, yes, technically the foundation, some of the floors, and some of the walls existed, but we tore it back to an incomplete set of 4 walls. We had to rebuild great sections of those walls, and every interior wall, all the plumbing, all the electrical, all of that is my wife and I. And so the house that is out of shot in that direction, I'm very attached to it. It's not finished. And part of the slowness has been dealing with that. The other, and I think more profound thing, and trying to sort out the garage, is what brought this really home, or at least was part of what brought this really home. I have ADHD. I didn't know. When I was a kid, ADHD didn't exist. You were just badly behaved. Or if you were a girl, you were just polite and quiet and prone to daydreaming. And it was obviously never diagnosed in me until last year, actually, when the stresses of my other job, where I work in an ER, the stresses of what's been going on politically, the endless attacks that we've seen both on myself and on Nikki on the channel in the comments, all of that kind of mounted up, and like my coping strategies, which I didn't even know were coping strategies, fell apart. And one of the first places I really noticed it, and this has always been a problem for me, like my garage, my workshop, my desk, my office, they've always been like this uneasy kind of battle with chaos. And like they'll descend to a state like this where there's 3 projects simultaneously scattered across them, and then I'll get fed up and I'll fix it. But on a grander scale, I never ever had a garage that was organized. Like, I lived in Bristol for years, the garage was always a tip. And that's because I can kind of out of sight, out of mind it. But with doing Rebecca, I really needed the garage to be an organized space where I could focus on things, at least somewhat, as far as my ADHD was letting me. And, you know, I was hyper interested in it and I was hyper focused on it. And so it was fine at the beginning, but in a very typical ADHD way, I got over the bit that I thought would be hard, did that, and then I was like, oh, well, okay, well, the rest of it's kind of not as exciting to me, even though it is exciting to me. But anyway, and there's also, you know, the whole I'm trans, I'm brown, I'm a woman, and I'm doing something technical on the internet. And I know that a lot of the cis white guys will comment that we should just ignore the hatred, but boy, does it get rough sometimes. So, you know, there's a whole kind of, this needs to be good. Like, I can make mistakes in my own life, and boy, do I. But for this, like, there's an element of where I feel like I shouldn't be making mistakes, even though actually the mistakes are the things that you learn from. Like, I learned so much from nearly blowing up the inverter. And now, you know, I've reached a point where I need to test it, and it's been sat there for nearly 2 years, possibly more than 2 years. And like, actually testing it, that has this whole thing of like very messy stuff that I need to deal with in therapy. And I do get therapy. So anyway, so there was the ADHD piece. There was the election piece, and I'm going to be bluntly honest with you. I've owned this car for a very long time. Like I said, it was restored as a gift to me by my dad when he was diagnosed with cancer. This car had sat in our family garage ever since I was a kid, or a teen. And he said, would you like me to restore this car with this money that I got because I've got insurance money, life insurance money? Or would you like to do something else with it? And I thought, that's a really cool thing. You know, this car's already however many years old. I think it was like 30 something at that point. It's now like coming up on 60, possibly more than 60, 69, 79, 89, 99, 2009, 2019, 50 something years old. And so, like, my dad paid to have the car restored. And there's a whole long story behind that, which didn't go very well. But I've had this car such a long time, and it means such a lot to me. But after the election, there was a solid 2 months where I was considering selling her. Because it was not outside the realms of possibility that I could need to leave the country imminently because of the policies of our current administration. It's not outside the bounds of possibility that I should have left the country rather than stay and fight. But like I said, I built that house with my bare hands. It has my blood in the walls, quite literally in some places. Like, blood, sweat and tears from me are in that house. And I'm damned if someone is going to take that from me. And to a degree, I wonder if I shouldn't say some of this, because I know this is exactly what the fascists, the authoritarian government, the TERFs want, is to make me miserable. But if they think that this will change me from being trans, if they think this would change me from being who I am, they're very, very wrong. And in the same way that the racists who called me vile names when I was a kid did nothing but strengthen my resolve to be myself, that's all you're doing. Like, that's the end result, is that I more want to be me because you do not want me to be me. And it is powerful for me to exist as I am in the world right now. So there's that. But there was one other piece, which is that I'm kind of burnt out. Like, I'm doing better now. I've been having therapy. I have worked really hard in the last 2 years to build up a social network that I had let disappear. I do stupid things like this is my guitar. This is my bass guitar. It's a 1970s Norma bass guitar, which is basically the equivalent of like a Walmart guitar. And I bought it because I was learning bass and I wanted something interesting. And it is a bit of a state, so I've been working on it. And so it's not like I haven't been out here, but I've been playing around with the bass, and it's nearly finished. So I will get that off the workbench and that will help. Yeah, it's been hard, like, but also, like, with my ADHD up for most of this time being untreated, writing scripts was getting incredibly difficult for me. And so, like, the idea that I would ditch writing a script and come out and work on what is essentially my toy, it didn't seem like the best plan. Let's put it that way. So then we come to like the next section. What's changed? Why am I making this video today? Because let's be honest, the amount of progress that I'm going to tell you about is very, very small. So the first thing is I have medication now for my ADHD and it is helping. I kind of have this vague hope that if I take it on a day off, I might come out and sort the garage out and actually not be distracted by, oh, I found this screw. Here, let me sort all the screws into like this part. Oh no, oh, look over here. There's something that needs dusting. Oh, look over here, which is how the process has gone thus far, which is inconvenient as it goes. The second, and I think the more important thing, actually, is that I have built a social network, the likes of which I haven't had in 20-ish years. I've had a few close friends who are queer, that whole time. I've had some close friends who are straight, but I haven't had a big network of friends, mainly because I'm about as social as a rock when I'm not on camera. It's just been really good for me. I sing, which has also been good for me. Like, I went and sung at like a residential nursing type memory care facility, and I went and sung at another like residential place, and it's been fun and weird. And I'm out there doing like classical music and Baroque operettas, and it's like, well, who the hell am I? But it's also been really good. And I think all of these things have fed into, despite the fact the world, in the US at least, is being willfully destroyed, like this weird dichotomy. And people who follow me on social media, who follow me on my personal social media as opposed to my work one, neither is professional, but one of them is slightly more professional, they will know that I have this weird dichotomy where like my personal friendships, my social group, my mental state outside of what's going on in the world is really good, and then what's going on in the world is like hammering at me with this sledgehammer of like awfulness. And I just am like, I have joked before that I exist because of spite, and that's mostly true. But yeah, like that has made me feel like I want to do things again. And like, there are jobs that I need to do before I get back to Rebecca. There's some, what I want to call skirting board, baseboard down there to go into the house, that it's been there since at least last summer, I think. And there's some more trim over there, and that also needs to go in. The lights in here, these like $10 LED lights, they keep failing, which is kind of hilarious. But like there's some jobs, but the main thing I need to do is just sort this chaos out. So there's going to be probably a little bit of a break, I would imagine, before I actually produce any videos. There is actually a lot of video recorded content to make the next video, because if you look at that inverter, you will see it does not look like it looked in the last video, because I did do more work on it. It is ready to be plugged in. It has the amp seal cable that was missing, the amp seal connector that was missing. I have it, it's connected. It's on a 3D printed thing that I've cleaned up. All that 3D printing that I needed to clean up, it's been cleaned up. I actually have sort of half wired a cable to go to the motor. I still need to come up with a way to power the motor, which is probably going to be that I go and buy some cheap knackered 12-volt batteries from a scrapyard, because that'll give me enough oomph to do it. I don't think my little tiny, let me see, where we go. I don't think my little tiny power supply, it will supply enough volts, but I don't think it's appropriate for trying to turn a motor. So hopefully, like, I'll get this place cleaned up. I'll finish my guitar. That's my first project, which is actually pretty much ready. I just need to undo that clamp, but I'm giving it 24 hours for the glue to dry. It probably only needed like 12, but we'll do that. And then I need to string it and see if it works. And if it works, then it will be off the workbench and in the house, which will help because it's quite big. And then a bit of a tidy up, hopefully get some stuff into boxes, because I have stacks of boxes around that aren't, you know, they're just empty at the moment. And then I'm really hoping that I can get and find out whether this inverter and the motor combination works. Get the accelerator pedal, the gas pedal from the Prius working with it, so that I feel like it's at a point where it's worth doing more. And then it's going to be getting some friends up here to get the engine out once we've got an adapter plate and clutch adapter made. So those are the next big steps. Is 1, check that the inverter is working with the motor and controllable with a laptop. 2, wire and check that the inverter is able to control the motor with with the accelerator pedal that I have. 3, get the adapter made up for the clutch plate and get the clutch plate lined. That's 4. Did I say 4? Also, at that point, I need to get a mounting plate made so that the motor can mount the gearbox. And I also need some custom mounts to mount the motor in the car. And at that point, I think I'll be willing to strip the engine out of Rebecca. So once those pieces are all ready, because the thing is, she doesn't run well at the moment because she's been sat for 2 years with being started 3 times. But she does run, so if I need to move her onto a transporter for some indefinable reason, or I need to just move her for whatever reason, then I can do that. And that's, for obvious reasons, important to me, that if I'm going to keep Rebecca, there's some way that I can move her if we need to leave the country. Which we might. And I'm not one of these people who is doom posting and doom scrolling. But I'm going to be honest with probably just the cis-het folks who are not paying that much attention to this. The ability for me to live my life in this country is diminishing. Washington State, Oregon, California, Maine, New York State, they are fighting. There are other states that are fighting this for the right for people like me to exist. But if people don't step up and say no, I am lucky enough that the savings that I have that would go on this, that would go on my personal, I'm starting a business unrelated to Transport Evolved, the savings that I would like to spend on those projects, I can use to get out. And I am very privileged and lucky that I am in that situation. Many of my friends are not. And so, yes, I really, really, really hope to be doing this project. And I hope that over the next 6 to 8 months, I can get to a stage where I'm starting to try and find someone to help sponsor us to get a battery pack. Because getting a battery pack is definitely kind of marginal on my I can afford this. Especially now with the tariffs, the cost of that is not going to be good. And I slightly regret, that's the word I'm looking for, slightly regret not having done it before. But yeah, I really, whenever I come out here, I look at Rebecca and the sun is out today and I'm like, why am I not out driving around in my cute little 1960s car, which I adore? But I also have to face the world with realism and practicality. And so we will see what happens over the next few months, but I am unlikely to just throw my savings away building an EV when I might need them to leave. So that's kind of where we're at. I imagine this video is gonna be probably not hugely popular because there's not a lot of exciting stuff. But thank you to those of you who've watched. For those of you who want to support us, we would be very grateful for your support. For those of you who want to see this happen, make sure that you are fighting for civil rights. And I look forward to seeing you in our next video.
Thanks for joining us today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them in our Discord room, on our Patreon page, down below, or you can reach us on Mastodon or Blue Sky. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They're part of the massive community of supporters who make this channel possible, helping us through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and helping us to remain 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, follow the links below. We've got options available across a range of different price points from $1.50 US a month. A massive welcome to our newest supporters: Andrew Dijak, Alex Flinner, Mark Chopping, Squire, James Higgins Thomas, Crispy Noges, Charles Noun, B. Henke, D. Vid, Maria van der Linden, Kay Firth, Scott Churchill, Nathan Okawa, Corporal Dwayne Hicks, T2 Roman, Michael Schaefer, Alan M, Peterson, Alan Badu, Omar Asiel, Robin Gee, and Nick. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your moment of fame and me mispronouncing your name. And you can even gift memberships to someone else. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at for the time being, addressed below. You'll also find links to our swag store, and if you're someone who has to shop on Amazon, please consider using our affiliate link so we get commission, not Jeff Bezos. So we can continue to focus on making our content even better and reduce burnout, we're being a little freer with our release days, but plan on dropping new content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on our main channel, plus something on Sunday over on TE Take 2. If you want more, the algorithm that hates us thinks you should be watching this video, but this video is one we'd like you to check out. Be awesome, be kind, be intentional, and don't forget to resist. Keep evolving!